10 Best Picks presents the top 10 best men watches. Starting at number 10. Casio EMQ 24/7 Bip U. I got the gold on black one first. I picked this face because the numbers reminded me of Star Trek, TNG, and it looked like the clearest to read. I noted that there was a black on white version of this face too. Amazon indicates that the white watch was model year 2014, but it doesn't specify on the black one. There are a few other face variations, including a pretty cool fake patina military time version, but I like the Bip U style the best, and I initially preferred the black version. Later on, for reasons I'll get into later, I got the white one too. So $18 got me one of Apple Watch's headlining features, swappable watch faces. These watches are totally great. The quality is the best possible version of what you'd expect from looking at them. The resin band is stretchy and comfortable, and though the whole watch is pretty small, it's so proportional that it looks almost formal. The plastic face isn't the most durable thing in the world. I scratched it pretty good on the first day, but fortunately whatever I scraped was soft, and the color came out of the gash. Both watches reached a pretty steady, weathered but readable state of wear after a week or two. The case is 35mm in diameter. It's 8mm thick, a fair bit thinner on the wrist than a computer watch. The band is 20mm wide, and the whole watch feels slim and perfectly sized. Since it doesn't have to show you anything but the time, this small face is perfect. It weighs 14 grams, which feels like nothing at all. Oh, and they keep pretty good time. I set the second one by the first one 3 days ago, and they're not even perceptibly out of sync. This guy tested it and says it lost less than 1 second per 24 hours. For a cheap watch, that's really good. There are two features that I really felt lacking from the Casio after a few days. I caught myself relying on my phone for them, which had all the unfortunate side effects of pulling me into Facebook land that I was trying to remedy by wearing a watch. I wanted to see the date, and I wanted a backlight to check the time in the dark. Other than those features, though, the Casio is pretty much perfect for me. It has everything else I want out of a watch, and none of the things I don't want out of a computer. Oh, yeah, and it costs $9. At number 9. Casio Men's Vintage A168WA1. After a prime amount of time the Casio A168WA arrived. I unboxed it and then stared at it. It was so much different than my many mechanical tool watches. My mind raced for nostalgia as I struggled for a connection. I needed help. Instead of a regular review, I asked friends, family, and coworkers to borrow the Casio A168WA1 and write up their thoughts. The watch has been traveling for 3 months from wrist to wrist. Each unfiltered community review is labeled with the person's initials, age, and their daily watch of choice. I hope that you have as much fun reading them as I did. Be sure to check out the gallery at the end for all the photos each review took. Outside of suit and tie events, I'm a two-watch guy. I am almost always wearing a $35 Timex Ironman and use an analog Swiss Army with a dark brown leather strap for work. The former was an Amazon purchase, the latter a hand-me-down from my friend Sam's uncle. I do have two Skagen watches for suit occasions, one in black leather and one in something of a butterscotch brown. On my chilly morning bike ride to the commuter train, the coolness of the metal watch band made me very aware of the Casio A168 Washington. Lucky for me, the links didn't catch in my arm hair, and overall the band was comfortable throughout the day. Setting the watch took no time at all, as it offers only the most basic of functions, something I found odd for a digital watch. I had never worn a watch that gets so much negative feedback. Being 22, all my peers were looking at my wrist like I had 20 fingers. Wearing the Casio was definitely eye-opening for my future watch endeavors. If you are planning on getting one, I'd say first buy a 1999 Lincoln Town Car and a fedora. The Casio will then naturally fit right in. Number 8 of my list. Timex Men's Expedition. The Timex wing of my watch collection is now home to 8 watches, with several modern quartz Timex staples, the Weekender Chrono, and Expedition Field Chronograph, sitting beside numerous vintage Timex automatics. The collection is a mixture of old and new, and I think showcases the best from one of America's most enduring watch brands. Since 2013 I've reviewed almost every line Timex has released, but absent from the list has been the Expedition Scout. Finally, in a Black Friday-inspired impulse buy, I decided to change that. The Expedition Scout comes in many flavors, all of which are a variation of field watch theme. Military-inspired styling is evident as well, but especially so in some of the darker color schemes. The blue dial and tan leather combination I have here offers a taste without going whole hog on the austere often associated with military style. Part of what I like about this model is the high contrast white used for the hour markers, ensuring that this expedition is easy to read. Of course, this is also true in dark settings thanks to the Indiglo backlight. At 40mm, this is the ideal size for any man and could also work for a woman wanting a bigger piece. The short lugs quickly round down, reducing their side profile and keeping the Expedition from wearing larger than its case size. Ultimately, I think that the Expedition Field Scout has one of the best value propositions out there. If you want a good-looking field watch for under $50, but don't want it to look like it is priced under $50, you'll be hard-pressed to find a better watch than this one. Coming at number 7. Casio Men's MDV-106-1AV. The MDV-106-1AV is handsome for a diver, and it's absolutely as capable as its deep water aesthetic suggests. I had to do a double take on it, actually, as I'd have no idea if this wasn't a $200 plus watch if I hadn't bought it myself on Amazon and paid $45 for it. Established in 1946, Casio was one of the first manufacturers to spearhead the quartz revolution. In 1974 they released the Casiotron, the first of many that they would release that would redefine segments of the watch market. Over the years they have released numerous monumental watches, including the F91W, the G-Shock lineup, and the Databank series of calculator watches. Learn more about Casio and their history here. The first impression I had of this Casio diver was very positive indeed. The enamel dial which I tried to showcase in some of the photos is a real visual win. It refracts light in an eye-pleasing way, and it's not at all overbearing. It adds a bit of a diffused sunburst effect to the dial, and I'm a big fan of that. Of particular note is the lume, which I have found to be quite excellent. It also seems to charge quite quickly. Even an hour or two in the sun is enough to give the lume meaningful charge and duration. Fans of dive style will appreciate how well done this Casio is, and the enamel dial in particular, and those needing a diver to be a dive watch will appreciate that this Casio is very much able to cash that check. At number 6. Casio Men's W800H1AV. The Casio Men's W800H1AV Classic Sport Watch is a great outdoors watch for those backpackers who just need an inexpensive watch, guaranteed to not only work, but to also last a long time. The Casio is water resistant up to 100 meters so you can swim and shower with it on. The green light is good for seeing it at night. It's fairly durable, however, don't expect it to last you a long time. If you get a few years out of it then it's paid for itself. And even if it does break it's inexpensive enough that replacing it shouldn't be a big deal. Keep in mind that the glass does scratch kind of easily. At first, this watch may seem basic, but for under $15, it is a must-have for any cost-conscious, lightweight backpacker who just needs a watch for time purposes on the trail. The Casio Men's W800H1AV Classic Sport Watch is a great outdoors watch for those backpackers who just need an inexpensive watch, guaranteed to not only work, but to also last a long time. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Halfway of my listed number 5. Casio Men's G-Shock. The Casio G-Shock DW5600 is your classic Casio digital watch in all black. It comes with all the classic G-Shock features including 200 meters water resistance, shock resistance and a big digital display with backlight and afterglow. There are of course the usual range of digital functions including stopwatch, countdown timer, alarms etc. But none of the fancy stuff you get on the high-end G-Shocks like solar or a triple sensor or GPS. This implies that just as consumers will tell Casio how to evolve its hybrid smartwatch next, Casio is telling consumers how to make use of these products. I encourage avid adventurers and regular exercisers to experiment with great products like the G-Shock Move GDBH 1000 and see how they can help improve their lives and fitness goals. For many people, the mere ability to see the distance they have traveled, the time it took them, and the effort necessary are useful enough. Of course, we have a very simple digital watch here, so there is not a huge amount of things to discover on the dial. It is predominantly the digital display with the date taking up the lower half and the day date the upper. The functions and other labels are around the dial at the A, B, C and D positions as Casio usually labels them on their instructions. That usually corresponds to about 2, 4, 8 and 10 o'clock on an analog watch. They have also added a few highlights of various Casio-specific functions at the top and bottom like the illuminator and shock resistance, all G-Shock fundamentals. Coming in at number 4 of my list. Casio Men's Vintage CA53W1. Simplicity at its best is what this watch is all about. You will find a small screen display which shows you all the functions. You get the time, date, and also the numbers and functions in case you are using the calculator. It has only 2 colors, black numbers digits, and the greenish-looking background. It's a digital piece that is powered by a battery. One thing the watch is known for is preserving the battery power. It will go through many calculations and time-reading functions before requiring a replacement. The battery, just like the watch, is very basic and also doesn't cost an arm and leg. The resin case is found all over except the case back which is made of stainless steel and on the face where the display screen is found. While the material is tough, it can get scratched if rubbed against tough rough objects. You can add, subtract, multiply and divide numbers. Below the screen display, you find 16 small rubber buttons. This watch is very basic, and this makes it easy to use even for newbies. It doesn't have too many colors, and the numbers are in digital form. It comprises of sturdy plastic material and feels light on the hand. The buttons, although somewhat small, are fairly responsive. This is without a doubt among the reliable pieces you can get. At number 3. Timex Ironman Classic 30. When it comes to low-priced watches that just work, Timex is king of the heap. They have been producing watches for as long as watches were on wrists and they have evolved with the times. You might know the classic Timex Weekender, but today we are looking at the more modern and sporty Ironman series. Their Ironman series is a great example of bulletproof watches that help you train both on and off land and can take a beating as well. Not only that, even if they do break at some point in their life, they are easy and cheap to replace. If you want even more lap memory, keep reading, as the next models up their game a little on this. But this is a solid, low-cost training watch that can also go with you in the water. If you want a little more memory, or just a slightly more refined-looking watch, this Ironman is a good choice. Less bulky on the face, with a sleek silicone fade-resistant strap and a nice and obvious orange start-stop button, this watch looks more like a polar watch to me. In terms of features, it is more or less the same as the classic above, but it has the added bonus of an interval timer too. Another classic model with a few more functions to whet your appetite, the classic 100 has 100 lap memory as well as a few more whistles, 5 alarms, 2 time zones and 9 interval timers. This is the watch for those that want a little more control and reminders for their training. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Coming at number 2, Amazfit Bip U. If you're looking to purchase a fitness wearable in the $40–50 range, your options might be limited depending on where you live. The Xiaomi Mi Band 5 has proven to be a worthy affordable fitness tracker, and it currently runs unopposed in its price segment. However, people often forget that Xiaomi does not make the fitness band. It outsources the job to Xiaomi, a leading player in the basic fitness watch space that also has a successful fitness watch line under the Amazfit brand. The Amazfit Bip U is Xiaomi's latest attempt to woo budget buyers. The device made its debut in India following Xiaomi's recent rebrand of its app platform. The Bip U stacks just below the Amazfit Bip S and Bip S Lite in terms of pricing, but where features are concerned, it packs in a lot more. In fact, if and when it steps out of the Indian market, it could stand shoulder to shoulder with the Mi Band 5. But does it bring the goods in terms of performance? Read our full Amazfit Bip U review to find out. You get a 1.43-inch TFT LCD screen on the Amazfit Bip U covered in 2.5D Corning Gorilla Glass 3. You can set the display to remain on all day or just light up when you raise your wrist. It's fitted inside a plastic chassis, while the straps of the watch are made of silicone. The Bip U is available in green, pink, and black color options. Just like most Amazfit watches, the Bip U is restricted to fitness features. It does not support third-party apps and is incapable of making or receiving phone calls. It also doesn't have its own built-in GPS like the Bip S, so it uses your phone's location services to track walks, runs, cycling routines, and such. And number 1. Casio F91W1 Classic. The Casio F91W1 series have been present on the market for a long time. It offers complete copies, perfectly suited for sports stylizations, as well as everyday use. This model aimed at men and women who value the versatility of the timer in terms of its functionality, as well as the correctness of coping in even the most extreme conditions. And in this short Casio F91W1 review, I will show you why this bad boy deserves everyone's attention. Notable features you should not ignore: the F91W1 watch has also beaten optimally in the test and comes in a very good price-performance ratio to your wrist. If you want to buy a digital watch with many features and in good quality, the cheap digital watch from the renowned manufacturer is exactly the right thing. The best digital watch among the top brings a timeless design in black and gray and is unisex, which makes it interesting for men and women alike. The digital time display is clear and the numbers are easy to read. There is also a calendar function in which the respective day and date can be set and read. You can also program an alarm to wake you up in the morning or remind you of a meeting. Furthermore, a stopwatch function is integrated and the display is available as 24 or 12 hours day. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, share this video and hit the like button.